My name is Cassimatis. I am one of the two sculptors who created the bears that stand behind me that will flank the entrance, the 14th Street entrance to the Peabody Opera House, which is reopening this summer, or this fall 2011.
Chris, tell us how you created these.
Well, they started out as blocks of stone that weighed 9,000 pounds each. And you start out with something, it's called a cut-off saw. It runs a 14-inch diamond blade. It runs on gas, and I use that to rough it out. From there we go to angle grinders and other various power tools. At some point you switch to a pneumatic air hammer and chisels, and you carve it out the old-fashioned way with chisels. And then from there you go to rasps and files and sandpaper, and
Each of these was 9,000 pounds?
Each was 9,000 pounds. Currently they probably weigh about 6,000 pounds.
Where does that stone come from? What kind of stone is it?
It's Indiana limestone. It comes out of a quarry in Indiana that's been operating for a very long time. Much of our country's famous buildings are clad in this limestone.
Is it good for this kind of work?
It's fantastic. The existing bears that are on Market Street are made out of Indiana limestone. Those were installed in 1933, and you see they're still beautiful today. So I expect these will last longer than I will.
Was it a worrisome process? Is there a point where you could, just make the wrong move and just the whole thing, you got to start all over again? Or
it's a very tenuous process throughout, starting with the first cut. At any point, you can cut too deep, and certain things can be repaired, but the list of things that can be repaired is fairly small. Most mistakes are game over.
How long did it take to do the two?
It took the two of us, well, it took about 700 man-hours to do both bears.
Over a period of how long?
2 months.
Well, that's amazing.
In the beginning, we worked 16 days straight, 8 and 10-hour days, just to get a good jump start on it.
They look fantastic. There's a lot of detail. How do you get the eyes and like the claws and that sort of thing?
That's a good question. The eyes and the claws are actually some of the last things to be carved, and therefore some of the scariest things to do, because it's very easy to mess those up. If you accidentally knock off a big chunk of where the nose needs to be, that cannot be fixed, and it doesn't have to be that big to be a fatal error, So certain things like the nose and the claws I actually carve by hand with the hammer and chisel, because it's a little slower than the pneumatic chisel. Clearly
these were meant to evoke the bears that you referenced earlier in front of the Opera House.
Correct. There's two in the front. One is supposed to be a brown bear, and that was carved by Victor Holm. The other one on the east side is supposed to be a black bear. That was carved by Robert Cronbach, and these are modeled after that east bear. These are both in mirror images of each other. One is a male, one's a female. One's a little thicker and brawnier, and the other one's a little smaller. But yeah, they were based off of that original bear, and also the Peabody logo.
Will they stand up to the extremes of St. Louis weather, and how long should they last?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the existing bears are made out of the same material. They were installed in 1933. They show some wear and tear through the ages, but it's really just character, Nothing major is missing. You can tell they're bears. They're still beautiful. I expect those still have a long life in them, and so these are just starting their life, and they should last for quite some time.
Finally,
longer
Chris.
Than me.
Well, they're going to outlast you. But how does it feel to have something like this? That's your work is going to be seen by, I guess, literally millions of people over many, many years.
It feels incredible. Not only that alone would make it an incredible thing. But the fact that it's in St. Louis, my hometown, makes it all the better, and something I'll be proud of forever. No matter what I achieve from here on out, this was my first very big achievement, and it's in my hometown, and I feel incredible about it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chris, how do you spell your last name?